No.
So they have this set where a reporter, Mara Linsky's about to deliver her on-set she's looking at the floor director trying to figure out which camera.
You didn't have kids yet, right?
He's from Nassau.
Oh my God, how do you turn that guy down?
She's not on camera yet because Grimsby.
We are streaming live on the website. Yeah.
She doesn't realize that they took the side shot and it was on the air.
So just, yeah, have my.
So she got fired.
So anyway, so we
Mara Linsky. And so Grimsby in the next break, if you tell me Titan TV the next Mara Linsky said,
you know what? I did it.
tell you see, tell them. I mean, they did this shit all the time. Yeah, Mad Men.
I think someone did tell me this because I remember that line. I never seen it. I heard about it.
So what's new? Carolyn, good talk.
Who saw?
Did you go up in Massapequa?
No.
Where did you go up?
Hewlett, Woodmere.
So what does associate you with marriage with?
Media is ready. Okay, Detective Lieutenant Richard LeBrun, Nassau County Police Department. We have scheduled this press conference today to provide further information with regard to numerous vehicular accidents of the past day. Present is Commissioner of Police Patrick Ryder, Chief of Department Stephen Palmer, Chief of Detectives Christopher Farrow, and the Commanding Officer of our Homicide Squad, Detective Captain Stephen Fitzpatrick. At this time, I would like to introduce Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Sir.
Good afternoon. First, from the County Executive's Office and myself, our condolences to all the victims. Victims and families that are now suffering with the tragedies that happened on our roads this weekend. Tragedies that could have been avoided. I'm going to talk to you about those 3 incidents with the loss of life totaling 5 people this weekend. A 13-year-old and a 10-year-old son and daughter have lost their life. Another incident, another child in the back of a car, age 6, lost their life. And then a 70-year-old man lost his life riding a bicycle. The county exec has reissued and doubled down on the fact that we have a zero tolerance for those who choose to challenge the quality of life here in Nassau County, for those who disregard the laws here in Nassau County. He wants everybody to know that we're going to continue to increase that enforcement going forward. We have already seen an increase of both DWI arrests by 32%, summonses are up by 40%, and our deaths on the road are down by 18%. But it doesn't take back any of the victims that have been lost. It doesn't ease the pain of those families. I was at the first scene in Massapequa yesterday. It was a horrific accident because of somebody driving excessively and fast speeds on our roads here in Nassau County. And as always, the person who causes these accidents, driving excessively or erratically, is not the ones that pay the price. The family going out to get ice cream because dad just got a new job. He said goodbye to not only his own life, but to that of his daughter and his son, aged 13 and 10. Also in severe critical condition is a 6-year-old and an 18-year-old, also from that vehicle. And then another grandson, age 14, with some fractured ribs. Captain Fitzpatrick will go over in details. Then later on that evening, a drunk driver of a car that was pulled over in the parking lane was rear-ended. And in that car was a child, age 6, that lost their life, crushed in that vehicle. CPR done by a volunteer off-duty NYFD that was out there and saw the accident. The men and women of the Nassau County Police Department, the men and women of our emergency service unit deserve a lot of credit, along with our volunteer fire departments who had to go out to these scenes and see this over and over. Last night, both of those scenes, a response from emergency service unit were there. All of those officers are seeing our peer support group today because of what they go through and what they have to see as this goes, these type of accidents occur. Also, the bicyclist that was killed in Hicksville, riding the wrong way into ongoing traffic with no helmet. Still a victim. We're still responsible as drivers to watch what's on the road. We are going to, as the county exec has issued, that we are going to continue our zero tolerance on the roadways. We're going to continue our enforcement. But more importantly, this doesn't take back the loss of life this weekend. It doesn't take back the pain that these families are going through. And the district attorney has assured us if there is any criminal activity in these cases, they will be fully prosecuted. I'm now going to turn it over to Detective Captain Steve Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think the Commissioner touched on the fact that we had 5 deaths this weekend, specifically yesterday. The first one, as you previously mentioned, was in Hicksville, and that's where a 77-year-old male without a helmet driving the wrong way as a car was making a right-hand turn was struck by that car and died as a result of his injuries. That case is non-criminal at this time, but just the nature of the fact that somebody was killed in a motor vehicle accident, we're bringing attention to it. Secondly was the Massapequa incident, probably one of the most horrific scenes we've seen in our days. That happened at 7:21 p.m. All the cars were going westbound on Sunrise Highway, across from 5500 Sunrise Highway, where there was the ShopRite, as well as a Master Grill restaurant. 2 cars were stopped at the red light in the center lane. At that time, a 2023 Hyundai Kona, which was operated by a 32-year-old male from Lindenhurst, rear-ended the 2014 Hyundai Santa Fe, operated by a 60-year-old father, along with 5 family members who were in the car. They were stopped at the light. Initial investigation is showing a very high rate of speed. We'll further investigate that further. This collision sent the 2014 Santa Fe into the rear of a 2005 Chevy Malibu, operated by an 83-year-old male, who was also stopped in the front at the traffic light. The original 2023 Hyundai Kona then flipped over onto the other vehicles and then subsequently rolled over onto a 4th vehicle, which is a 2016 Hyundai Elantra that was operated by a 33-year-old male from Massapequa, who was also in the left lane of that intersection. As a result of this extreme collision, there are currently 3 fatalities, 5 others injured, and 1 person who RMA'd, which has refused medical attention, who was shaken up. The deceased in this accident, as the Commissioner has noted, a family. The father, Patrice Huntley, is 60 years old and lived in Flushing, Queens. He was driving. His daughter, Hannah, H-A-N-N-A-H Huntley, 13 years old, was deceased and pronounced at the scene. His son, Jeremiah Huntley, was 10. He was taken to a local hospital and pronounced at that hospital. Also, as the Commissioner said, an 18-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 14-year-old were also in the car. The 6-year-old is the granddaughter of Mr. Huntley. She's taken to an area hospital where she has extreme internal injuries, brain bleeds, and they're having a hard time controlling the bleeding. She's extremely likely, and we're hoping that she makes it. Brianna, another 18-year-old, was taken also to a local hospital where she has extreme internal injuries. She's undergoing several surgeries. They're trying to control the bleeding on her. She's also listed as possibly likely. The 14-year-old was taken to a local hospital with back and rib injuries, and he's listed in stable condition at this time. The driver of the Malibu, the 83-year-old male, he's from Long Beach. He was shaken up, obviously body injuries from the collision. He was taken to a local hospital where he was treated. He's in stable condition and then he was released. The 4th car, 2016 Hyundai Elantra, was operated by a 33-year-old male from Massapequa. He had minor injuries and refused medical attention at the scene. The operator of the 2023 Hyundai Kona is a 32-year-old male from Lindenhurst. He sustained compound fractures to his ankle, multiple internal injuries, and he's in a local hospital and is listed currently in a stable condition. The initial investigation is indicating an extreme high rate of speed. We're not finished with the investigation. There's other aspects of it that I don't want to get into at this press conference, but we're looking into all other factors that might have caused this accident by the original car that struck the collision. The 3rd accident is West Hempstead. West Hempstead occurred hours later, 2:20 in the morning into the 7th. These vehicles were eastbound on Hempstead Turnpike at Westminster Road in West Hempstead. This was a 2-car collision. Witnesses observed the 2005 Nissan Pathfinder, operated by an 18-year-old male from Freeport. In an attempt to run the red light, he accelerated at a high rate of speed as he went through the intersection, lost control, and struck the rear of the 2009 Toyota Corolla, which was operated by a male 24-year-old and the father of this family of Hempstead. He was parked on the side, like the Commissioner said, with the emergency flashes activated, as his wife was outside the vehicle looking at discarded carpet that might be useful for them in their home. As a result of this collision, 5 people were injured, and the 6-year-old female is pronounced at a local hospital. The mother was 26. She's also from West Hempstead. She was injured by debris that was flying around after the collision. Her niece, who's 17, was also with her. She was injured as well, same conditions. And then also the 5-year-old other daughter was in the rear of the car. She sustained multiple internal injuries, is stable, and is at a local hospital. The subject was arrested at scene. He blew at a rate that was twice the limit of a legal limit of intoxication. He was arrested at the scene, taken to a local hospital for his injuries. His name is Jorge Bonilla Gutierrez. He's 18 years old. He lives at 77 Jesse Street in Freeport, and he's going to be charged when the time is right. He's obviously admitted into the hospital for his injuries. He's facing charges of manslaughter in the 2nd degree, vehicular manslaughter in the 2nd degree, assault 2nd degree, assault 3rd degree, DWI, and he's an unlicensed operator. Does anybody have any questions?
Are you identifying the driver in the Massapequa crash?
Not at this time.
Do you expect to charge him?
When our investigation is complete, we'll take the totality of the information, the evidence that we have and we've gathered. I mean, obviously, speed right now is definitely being given to us, but there's many ways for us to document the speed, and we're endeavoring to do that now. And if the facts at that time make a charge, we'll absolutely, as the DA told the commissioner, we absolutely charge him to the fullest extent of the law.
So those cars were sitting westbound?
You talk about Massapequa, correct? Massapequa, yes, go ahead.
They were heading westbound, and then the car that hit them was heading?
Correct. So
westbound?
car 3 was in the front at the traffic light, 2 was here, right behind him, and the 4th car was in the left lane at the light. The first car that caused all the causation of this accident came up from behind a high rate of speed, striking car 2, which makes a chain reaction into car 3. His car flipped over this way and then fell off onto the 4th car.
And car 2 was the Santa Fe with the family.
Correct.
And it was 6 members of one family. And
6 members in 1 car.
3 are
This-
dead, 2 are in critical, and 1 is
Stable.
Thank you.
What can be done to stop this carnage?
Well, as the commissioner said, public awareness, slow down. Obviously, everybody looks to our enforcement, which we've always stepped up, and as the commissioner has decided, our enforcement levels are high. It's just public awareness. I mean, you're killing families. There's 5 kids that's potentially going to die this weekend for this. Just, you check yourself before you look somewhere else. I mean, these guys, the rate of speed, one guy's driving drunk, put the blame where it belongs.
And on the West Hempstead one, I just want to make sure I get this right. There was a car stopped with someone out looking at a carpet sample or something?
So the family had stopped, yeah. So you remember the flea market that used to be there? The Tri-County Flea Market? There's a carpet store that's closing there. So all the carpets that weren't used were put out, were discarded. The family saw this, carpet was still good. They thought maybe they could use it in their home. They stopped to check it out. As the wife and the niece were outside the car, the collision occurred.
And the wife and niece looking at the carpet, that was in the car or in the SUV?
The carpet was outside the vehicle.
Right, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to figure, there was an SUV and a car involved, right?
Mhm.
At that scene, the vehicle where the child was deceased, that was the car, not the SUV?
Correct, it's a Toyota Corolla.
I got it.
The SUV struck the Toyota Corolla by the subject who was arrested.
And just for clarity, the placing of that car, they were legally to the side? The car that was struck that killed the kid that was on the back seat?
They were off to the side with the flashes. I don't know the exact location right now, but I could get back to you on that.
And can you please spell Patrice Huntley is his name?
It's Patrice Huntley. He's 60 years old.
I'm sorry, back to that Massapequa crash, the
Yeah.
driver of the car, do you believe he was impaired?
I wouldn't want to get into that until I have facts to support that.
Okay, thank you, Captain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just to make sure I understand, Gutierrez, the guy who was hurt, he was in the SUV?
Yes.
And do you know what the new job was of the dad they were celebrating?